All right, everybody, welcome in. I'm WCI3 Chief Meteorologist Kevin Lighty in the studio here. 11:40 p.m. on this late Sunday night, early, about to be Monday morning. And we are tracking some severe weather for you tonight. I know there's been a lot of talk about this potential severe weather leading up to tonight. And so we're here with you. Meteorologist Jacob Dickey is also in the studio here with us tonight. And we'll be taking you through the rest of this event, which could provide some severe weather for some of you out there. We are already dealing with kind of two clusters of storms here. One across our northern counties, McLean County, where there's just a ton of lightning on that cell that's up there. I mean, you're talking about severe storms that have got a lot of cloud to ground lightning, and we have been kind of watching those from our camera viewpoints here as well. And you can see that is in Bloomington, where we have the rain coming down, the lightning that is there with our Bloomington camera that we see. So again, the storm there, severe thunderstorm warned that we're watching, and just torrential downpours with that. And that's just kind of the beginning of this with these storms here. So we're watching that there. And then there's a second cluster of storms that we're watching, and those are going to be down into Morgan County, down near Jacksonville. They've got another little cluster of storms there that we've been watching that have severe thunderstorm warnings on them as they kind of dive to the south and east. So there's kind of two areas right now that have warnings with them. Pontiac as well, seeing some really intense lightning. What we can do is we'll take you from our camera there in Bloomington, because again, I'm going to keep this up here for a second because just constant lightning there with our camera in the Bloomington area. That storm really kind of ramping up. And then there's Pontiac there as well, where you can see all of that lightning. So you've got Livingston County and McLean County that are getting hit pretty hard right now with these storms, and where we've got the severe thunderstorm warnings that are currently in effect down there. And they just issued another one there for McLean County, a new severe thunderstorm warning, talking about even 1.25-inch hail as a possibility out there as well. Our Gibson City camera, too, really interesting to watch it, because there are storms well off into the distance there, and you can see on the camera, look at that, lighting up the sky, a great view, constant lightning with this. That's a lot of the reports we keep getting in is just tons of cloud to ground lightning. A lot of electrical activity, which sometimes can be a pretty good indicator of a storm's strength, and it is definitely maintaining itself fairly nicely there. So we have multiple cameras that we're watching with these storms as they continue to move through the area, and we are watching the hail threat. I got to tell you, just north of Normal. Let me see if I can't. I'm going to pull up also our Normal camera, which is going to show us what's also going on there. And you can kind of see some of the lightning. We're actually looking in the other direction. So you're seeing the flash off of some of the buildings there in downtown Normal with that storm. So again, very impressive on radar with both of those little clusters. And now you can barely even see that. I mean, that's, the Bloomington camera there, you can see just the sheets of rain that are coming across there right now on the northeast side of town. Really strong thunderstorm. So I know a lot of you are kind of wondering about what to expect here through the rest of tonight. And we've got a severe thunderstorm watch that is pretty much in effect for a good chunk of the area. And that, I believe, runs until 4 a.m. And so there's still a lot of time here to deal with some of these thunderstorms. Now, these are diving to the south and east right now. And I know many of you are going to say, okay, what about my area? Well, take a look at this. I got to tell you, this storm is the one that definitely has my attention, the one here north of Bloomington, because it's going to dive south and east. And you're going to start heading into portions of McLean County, maybe into Ford and northwestern Champaign County to kind of hold together. But this storm really is kind of one of the strongest ones that we've got. A little bit of a hail core there as well. They're talking about 60-mile-an-hour winds with this, and this severe thunderstorm warning goes until 12:15 a.m. And so we've got a good run at this storm as it moves through the area. Again, we've got a lot of you that are out there watching here tonight, and we're going to be updating you on what to expect as we go throughout the rest of this evening. So I know many of you are wondering about your specific locations. If we're not specifically talking about where you are right now, you don't have an immediate threat, but we kind of have to just look at these storms as they kind of move to the south and east. And so right now, most immediate concern is going to be into central and southeastern McLean County. And then we'll watch into Ford and Champaign County as that storm kind of moves to the south and east. And you can see when we put the loop on this, that's the movement. But you can see it also really has strengthened just in the last, kind of half an hour or so. So we'll watch that. We'll listen for any reports that come in. Looks like the storm up near Metamora actually had some quarter-size hail with it. And so that is something we're going to watch. I mean, look at that little hail core there. It's going to be diving south and east. Just kind of crossed over 51 there and is going also over I-55 as well. So on the northeast side of Bloomington, that is a very intense thunderstorm. So Aerosmith, you'd be on the lookout there in Ellsworth here in the next kind of, 20 minutes or so. These are kind of diving to the south and east at 45 miles per hour. So that's the wide view. One complex here is diving south and east. We're watching another area out here, and then additional storms that we are definitely keeping an eye on. I got to tell you, the stuff up into northern Ford and Iroquois County doesn't look too bad, but this stuff right here, okay, that's what I'm going to watch as it kind of moves south and east. It could clip portions of Ford, Champaign, maybe even Vermilion counties there as well. And Jacob is keeping an eye on this stuff as well. Here we are, 11:47. We talked about the severe weather threat here for much of the night. And if we can pull up Jacob over there on the key, and he's going to go ahead and talk to us about these little thunderstorms out there tonight.
Yeah, these storms are electric too, Kevin. My dad's out in McLean County here watching some of the storms slide to the south and east. I talked about it 15, 20 minutes ago. He said, the lightning was impressive. We've seen that on our Gibson City camera. We've seen that on Bloomington. We've seen that in Pontiac right now with those storms coming on through. A lot of real estate here this evening with no severe weather at this point, but that may not hold here. We've got this cluster of storms along north of I-74, another batch west of I-55, and then this new area out here is in western and northwestern Illinois that I think we'll have to watch and keep an eye on here. And so that's something we'll continue to monitor with those three separate regions. You look at the trend here, and these moving east and southeast. These as well here moving more southeast. Misses out on a lot of spots, but we think there may be some redevelopment in these areas here that allow for the storms to fill in the middle. And this is a late event too, through much of the night here, where these storms will continue to push on through the region. So we're going to watch all of them closely. Stick around with here. We'll see how late Kevin stays with us, and I'll be here as well through the morning show and to keep an eye on things by the time we start the morning show at 4 or 5 in the morning. First off, programming note. There's a funeral over in England for the Queen that's going to take precedence for a CBS special report, but we'll be doing our morning show on X49 at 5 a.m. live there too. So we'll have more updates. It seems by that time it might be more of a flooding threat with lingering storms. That severe threat probably waning by then, but still we'll be here. We'll keep an eye here through the night. Let's take a look here and analyze some of these storms a little bit more. And we'll start with this northern batch up here and talk about storms in parts of McLean and Livingston counties. These storms have severe thunderstorm warnings with them, and we'll just make sure I've got my radar on here that I want. You'll see here for Livingston County, McLean County, those severe thunderstorm warnings. A bit messy here. They issue storm warnings based on polygons for fractions of counties here. It used to be back in the day when I was growing up, when Kevin was growing up, there was a severe thunderstorm in any part of the county. The whole county got warned. That's not the case now. We've got polygons in here for sections of counties. Couple things happening here. There's a lot of different cells, and so there's boxes all over the place here, but we're going to break it down for you, talk about that. First off, Livingston County here now, including Pontiac down towards the I-55 corridor south and west of town. That's where the main warning is. It will also continue into the eastern central parts of Livingston County. There's US 24, Fairbury, Forest. We're talking for you, Chatsworth, further to the north, Sonneman. It'll be south of Dwight. We think, though, it may get farther to the south and east, eventually towards Strawn, and then eventually into Ford County here. And then for the McLean County warning, we'll take a little bit of a closer look here. This warning is pretty much Bloomington normal to the north and to the east. And that strongest cell now sitting on the north and west side of town there. Let me zoom in a little bit on that for you. And that's right where I-55 splits off from Empire. You can see here on the north side, there's that Menards in the north side of town. Sam's Club is up there. Then you go to the north and east towards Towanda. Likely some large hail in this storm moving off to the east. And I think that's going to go close to 165. You go to Myrna here. They got the Myrna Tap in town. It's a couple houses, a grain elevator, and the Myrna Tap. 165 is the shortcut to the north towards Sibley from Route 9. Eventually, that'll be towards Cooksville and Colfax and places like that. And so there may be some $quarter to $half size hail in this little spot here. That storm trailing in the north side of town. Our cameras, we've got that one that Kevin's been watching here in the north side of town. We've got another one in downtown Bloomington. They've both been lighting up here with these storms as they've been pushing on through. And so we're watching that. A little further to the west, more heavy rain over Danvers, northwestern McLean County. No indication that this is severe. It'll continue to move in an easterly direction here for us. And we'll pull a little bit more to the north and east, zoom back in on Livingston County. And let me get that button to, okay, there we go. Sometimes this will mess up for me a little bit. We're going to zoom a little bit more on Livingston County here and talk more about that and what we see there. Pretty much it seems like to the Pontiac areas to the south and east. Sonneman sits right here. There's the four-way stop on 116 and 47. A little gas station in the corner there. It's the halfway point between Forest and Dwight. Looks like from a 116 to the south and east here, I think Forest, Chatsworth, Fairbury in line. Going to be some quarter-size hail and some 60-mile-per-hour winds in there. Earlier, we were watching this storm, and it had the appearance that maybe the wind was a little bit higher at times here. We're trying to look here over parts of Livingston County. Some of these greens, and if I switch to the Lincoln radar, take a look at the velocity there. You'll see it turning more red. There's been some indication of some 50 to 55 mile-an-hour wind gusts in there. It doesn't look overly impressive at this point, but we know the trend is as these storms move to the south and east, that's going to allow for them to pick up here. And so we're going to watch that closely here across the region. So, Kevin, we continue to watch these storms here, and I'll put on the radar loop for all to see. We talked a lot about that, though. Kevin, there's still those storms in the south and west. Those seem like they'll miss Springfield. Then there's storms further off to the west. But, of course, we'll keep an eye on all of them here through the night. That Gibson City camera, Kevin, it has been electric. I've been recording it, too, on Bit Central so we can have some video.
I'm just watching, it wasn't on there, but just about 30 seconds ago, big old just cloud to ground lightning strike off there behind the high school there off in the distance. But yeah, just look at that. It's just constant lightning there. And so I've got that pulled up here. I just want that we can just take that full. We can just show that because I want to let you guys just watch this light show that is there. Now this storm, okay, that the lightning with this is way off in the distance here. So a lot of people sometimes they call it, heat lightning because if you can't hear the thunder because basically you're too far away from that thunderstorm to see the lightning. But in this case here, we are getting reports people are hearing thunder out there with this lightning, and that is pretty intense. You can just kind of see when the lightning does kind of light the sky up, you can see the cloud structures with some of that as well. These storms are still 30 miles to the west out there tonight. And so again, they're moving south and east though, and they're going to potentially impact portions of Ford, maybe northwest Champaign County, and definitely southeastern McLean County here. And that area that we were kind of watching there now east of Bloomington, so Saybrook and Bellflower, you guys kind of be on the lookout. You are technically under that severe thunderstorm warning that is with that cell there tonight. Just look at that. My goodness, if you are a lightning enthusiast or a weather geek nerd,
somebody's getting some good photos.
I was going to say you can get some good photos of this. Obviously, do it in a safe manner, but yeah, you can just sit there and. Jacob, I know your dad's out there probably seeing this as well.
I wonder if we can call him and get him on the stream live, maybe.
Hey, yes.
Text him, and we'll see if we can't hear from him.
See that he might be in the middle of a hail core right now, pouring rain. But so that, again, that is the storm well off into the distance there. So I'm gonna take this back over to the radar because I want to show you. You were just watching Gibson City there. So here's the storm. Now I will come across here and we'll just measure. Okay, how far away is some of that lightning? So there's 15 miles to the edge of the kind of the precipitation shield, but now you're talking 25 miles, 26 miles to the core of where that lightning is actually coming from. And so you can see just how far away that lightning is. Now watch this. We'll switch on the lightning, and my goodness.
You look at some of those bolts there closer to Gibson City, Kevin.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that one that
way ahead of the storm.
Look at this. Look at this guy. That might have been the one, I'm telling you, because I saw and that one lightning bolt that came down, that might have been the one because there was a cloud to ground that seemed a lot closer. But you can see just all of the lightning with our storm here. Each one of these little bolts, these little icons here, is indicative of a lightning strike. Now, this is over the past 15 minutes. I'm going to slowly start filtering them out. We'll show you lightning over the past 10 minutes. Now lightning over the past 5 minutes. That is a lot of lightning. How about just over the last 3 minutes? That is an incredible amount of those little icons, and they're still popping up. Each one that kind of pops up on the screen is a new lightning strike. And so you can see right now, let's see where that's at. That's going to be right there over Fletcher and boy, just northwest of Ellsworth, just a ton of lightning south of Towanda, and those lightning strikes keep popping up. So that again is diving to the south and east. So let's show you this loop so you can kind of get an idea of where it is going. And kind of there it is. Moving to the southeast. I think the last check is around 40 or so miles per hour. And this is definitely one of the stronger storms. And see what's kind of like building back there into Bloomington now. Definitely the strongest part there east of town. But Cooksville and Ellsworth to Aerosmith, right there along 6, you're going to find, or along 9 there, you're going to find that storm coming right there, and there's Gibson. We'll see if this thing comes to the old famed Gibson City, Jacob.
Anytime I'm here, kind of raining in Gibson, right?
Something's gonna happen. So there is a look there. I'll switch back over to the Gibson City camera, just to show you all of that lightning that is still constant there. And as that storm gets closer, there'll be even more lightning strikes and probably more of those cloud to ground strikes that you see. A lot of this is we call cloud to cloud. You're kind of seeing it off in the distance, but it is highly electrically charged here. There were reports of, looks like some trees down in Peoria, near the Peoria Stadium when the storms came through. That was actually about an hour ago that occurred. Some hail reports were also being reported up near Normal. So we're getting even some hail in there as well. Obviously, a lot of lightning. And there's been concern that potentially tonight, if storms kind of move over the same areas, called the training of storms, that there could be some issues with flash flooding. We'll see if that kind of plays out here, but it is definitely something. I know a lot of you are saying you can see the lightning from everywhere. Lots of thunder in Onarga, crazy lightning in Watseka. I'm just looking at some of you guys' questions here. Will it come to Champaign? I mean, it's definitely possible here as this whole complex kind of moves to the south and east. And so that's your lightning on your cameras right now. And these are the storms. 2 areas that we're watching, actually kind of a third one back here, nothing severe on that one. But then you've got our one little area here that is now kind of moving out of our counties, maybe heading into Macoupin, Montgomery down the line. But then we've got this little guy here that's just starting to pop kind of west of Springfield. And then this large cluster, this is definitely the strongest out of all of them, is right here into McLean County. So, yeah, if you just kind of extrapolate that out, you're going to bring things back down into Champaign County as well.
You want me to call my dad and talk
Oh, yeah.
to him? We'll give him a call.
Where's he at?
If you want, Kevin, we'll talk to him live here in just a second. I'd like to take a look at velocity in that McLean County storm, just to see what you're thinking on that. Production, if we can, I'm not sure if it's possible. I'd like to double box me on Max 1 and the key, and then have that Gibson City camera as well, just to monitor it. I'm going to give him a ring here and see if he's able to talk or whatnot. If you can't double box it, that's fine. We can see about just having that camera full as well. And so we'll keep an eye on that and see what can work out. All right, I think we got on the phone. Dad, you out there?
Yep, I'm here.
Hey, tell us where you are and what you're seeing right now.
Right now we're between Fairbury and Chenoa, about halfway between.
Okay.
Heavy rains just rolling in, and we're seeing a lot of cloud-to-ground lightning, a lot of lightning.
Okay.
Got a light show out here tonight.
Yeah, the storm warning for McLean County now is going to have a bit of an upgrade in the tag there. It looks like they're upgrading it to, is that going to be some 70-mile-per-hour winds and some $half size hail with that? You said you're up by Chenoa, is that correct?
Yeah, right east of Chenoa and west of Fairbury.
Okay, kind of in the middle there towards the county line. We're interested also, just to let you know, Dad, the storm to the south and west that's coming out of Bloomington. If you see to your south and west at all, and maybe you can check radar, we're kind of interested in the east side of Bloomington, eventually heading south and east towards Saybrook and Aerosmith, and maybe east a little bit towards Gibson as well. So keep an eye on that. Tell us a little about the lightning, Dad. What are you seeing out there with that?
The lightning is very intense. Just a fantastic light show. The rain's coming down really hard, so it's hard to see the individual bolts, but we saw some good cloud-to-ground lightning.
And you've been following these storms for a while. Have you had any hail, or are you staying out of the storms and ahead of them? What's your plan here for the next little bit?
Right now we're in one. We'll probably get some hail here pretty quick. As soon as we do, I'm heading east.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Dad. We'll talk to you later. And if you get any reports, let us know. Kevin, while Dad's on the phone, are you seeing anything with that cell coming out of Bloomington there?
There's some interesting stuff there just northwest of Downs that I am actually looking at here. It's probably the best looking circulation that we've had kind of the whole time. Very broad, obviously, okay. But definitely something that I'm going to be keeping a close eye on here is this stuff right here.
Yeah, I see that too. So kind of by Downs there. So, all right, Dad, I'm going to let you go. We'll talk to you later. Thanks, Dad.
Good. Thanks.
Bye. Okay, thanks, Kevin.
Yeah, so that kind of like right there. So that's southeast of Bloomington. That's Downs. And thanks to the mayor for popping in there with us. As always, he's out there doing his thing. It's midnight.
Kevin makes me stay in here.
So again, this is an area that I'm just going to watch here carefully. Okay, there's some broad rotation that is in there, so we got to keep an eye on that. Seeing that little notch, a little bit of a hook trying to form that's in there. So if you're along I-74 there from Bloomington to Leroy, again, right there near Downs right now, you're going to have a nice little storm that's there, and it is definitely going to be producing a ton of lightning in that general area. So we'll watch it. There's nothing immediate that is, some very broad rotation, but you've got some of the reds and some of the greens that are there as well. And we'll just continue to kind of watch that little spot. But more than anything, it continues to be just an incredible light show in Gibson City. Not just Gibson City, but all across probably Ford and Iroquois County. They're talking about in Watseka, seeing the lightning up there. But that cell is kind of back building there, back towards Eureka and Peoria again. And that's what I was kind of talking about is that potential for flooding to occur. That's some really, really heavy rainfall that is there. You can kind of see how this is kind of built. We knew somewhere there's going to be kind of the training of cells over the same area. So we're going to have to watch out for some flooding with that. But right now, severe thunderstorm warning does continue for McLean County. 70 mile-per-hour winds are associated with that. So that is a high-end severe thunderstorm warning whenever they're popping 70 on the number there. But that lightning is pretty impressive there. That's constant. That's a lightning strike almost every second. That's showing up there.
Yeah, we've got that Gibson City camera, Kevin. Unfortunately, that's looking to the north and west. That's anchor. Really, you got to look to the left there. We don't have the ability to pan it, but you see the left side of the screen, we're seeing a lot more flashes there too. So we'll watch probably eventually, I think, that studio camera. And on Max, the quad, if we keep that Max 1 on there, that's fine. We'll probably get the Champagne camera up here next and get a peek at that to the north and west, because these storms are electric, way far away. Kind of reminds me of the way the lightning is, Kevin. This was a couple weeks ago. We had folks that were up in northern Iroquois County seeing lightning from storms down in Effingham. And so I imagine if you're out here in areas, Danville, down towards Paris and Matthew Charleston, you probably look to the north and west. You can see that lightning from a distance. And so we'll watch those cameras here in a little bit. That's Gibson City right now. We're keeping a close eye on that storm. Looks like that storm moving east and southeast. We'll see how close it gets to town. There's some quarters to $half size sail, 60 to 70 mile per hour winds being estimated by the National Weather Service here. I want to real quick take a look at the timing here, where we're at. Right now, it's just after midnight, 12:05 in the morning. You see this timeline here of 10 to 1 where these storms are now. Further down the line here, 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. is in this blue area. So we're in that window of opportunity now, and those storms are starting to push into this blue corridor here. That's going to include Watseka down towards Champaign, Taylorville, Shelbyville, Mattoon, and Charleston, Tuscola. It'll be later on this evening here. In fact, it may be closer to the 2-3 a.m. time period once we get towards the Indiana side of the state line, down towards Paris, even Effingham, for these storms as they continue to move on through. This is the time of arrival, though. There may very well be storms that stick around with us for several hours, and as Kevin was talking about, starting to back build there. So we will watch and keep a close eye on all of that. And that may lead to more of a flash flooding threat here for some areas as we move later on tonight into the morning tomorrow. Technically Monday now here, Monday 12 to 6 a.m. Here's the severe thunderstorm watch. It goes until 4 a.m. for these counties here. Most all of us in central Illinois included in that. I want to mention Danville, Paris. Gotten a number of messages from there saying, well, what about us? Usually with these watches here, they don't just extend them for, hours and hours ahead. There may be a local extension that's required here within time, but when the watch was issued here this past evening, they decided that the timing was a little bit later for that. So we'll see if there's a local extension of that. Of course, that later timing means that the severe threat with time goes down. The later we go, we'll still have the chance for storms. So the confidence there a little bit less about what will happen there. But I don't want you to go to bed and think you're all clear. Probably wake up for some storms at some point, a good chance of that. So we'll watch that to keep an eye. That watch goes until 4 a.m. If you've got your WCIA3 weather app, you got your notice on that. Want to mention we are NOAA weather radios for the most part. Those are for sure sending out warnings. A lot of them by default does send out the big chirping alarm for watches. So that's just something to mention. But if there's warnings out there, severe thunderstorm warnings or more, then those are going to sound off your NOAA weather radio. Quick check at radar scope here, and you'll see you like to look at as many things as possible. Let's take this into Iroquois County. I haven't talked much about Iroquois County here. There's Watseka. There's I-57. Iroquois County sits here, Kankakee County to the north. Plenty of heavy rain and storms. Watseka to the north and west towards Ashcombe and Danforth and Chebans and Clifton, and north of Gilman and Onarga. We'll fill in the rain and storms from the west there soon. No warnings in Iroquois County, but still some torrential downpours there. Our severe storms are primarily for Livingston and McLean counties here. And right here's Gibson City. There's Forest, Fairbury. My dad is somewhere in here, and he's going to detour back to the south. This storm is one that was got some of that $half size hail and 70 mile per hour winds between Bloomington and Gibson City. A nice, healthy-looking supercell there. The good news is tornado threat pretty low at this point. We'll watch that. The later we go in the night, usually the boundary layer cools off, the surface layer cools. That separates those storms, makes them more elevated, but that can still lead to some big hail and some gusty winds. And then we've got this line coming in the backside here from Peoria along US 24 east towards Eureka and El Paso. That's now approaching I-74 from, that's going to be really from Peoria off there towards Carlock and north of Danvers. This will sweep in behind it as well. So we may have some heavy rain here on the I-74 corridor. We keep that to the south and west. Well, Champaign-Urbana sits right here. So we're watching off to the north and west. And Kevin, I know you've got that camera up there looking from town here. Yep. Seeing the lightning as well. And plenty, it's going to be a great night for photographers here,
Yeah.
but not a great night once those storms arrive. Kids are going to wake up. People are probably awake now when Erie is getting those storms, and certainly we're going to stay awake and watch those throughout the evening here.
Well, I got a question on the chat, and it was, how is lightning already so prominent in Champaign when on radar? It doesn't seem to be near here yet. That is a question from Sam there. And yeah, Sam, you're looking, if you're in Champaign, and that's what you see right now, are lightning strikes that are, 30, 40 miles, to our north and west. But you can see those from a good distance away. We're just kind of, the right conditions are present for that. And you can get that. Now, you're probably not hearing the thunder in Champaign yet. And that's because light will travel further than sound will. The sound waves kind of dissipates from thunder. So you'll see the flashes of lightning as the thunder sound waves actually dissipate a little bit there. New severe thunderstorm warning. We got Champaign County now.
Yep.
So they've extended
weather radios going off there.
So, yep, your weather radios are probably going off. Champaign, DeWitt, McLean, and Piatt counties, new severe thunderstorm warning. I do want to make mention they also just had a report from the Bloomington Airport. So BMI had a 59 mile per hour wind gust just a few moments ago. Their ASOS, their actual weather station there at the airport, measured a 59 mile per hour wind gust here. And so that's going to be down here where BMI is. And so they just had that.
There were some spotters in the north side of town that were estimating some 70 mile per hour winds there at, was that Fort Jesse and Airport Road? Yeah, Fort Jesse and Airport. That's northeast side of town, right where that core was sitting over.
Yeah, so some definite winds. That's why they've carried this extension of the new severe thunderstorm warning down. It does hit Mansfield. It clips Fisher. Technically not quite to Mahomet, but definitely you've got Leroy and Bellflower that's in there. And that does not include Gibson City. It's going to be just to the south and west there. But you can kind of see this storm that we've got here. And if we kind of just highlight the area of biggest concern, it's going to be right down into here where we've got really strong winds is right in there. Okay. And so we'll switch it over to the velocity on here as well. And so there's a complex there of some winds there, and then possibly even, is that even some stuff down there towards Downs? Not quite yet. Definitely the stuff there into Bloomington. They have just continued just getting hit pretty hard there on the east side of town, Bloomington normal. But that is diving south and east. And so there's the new warning that is in effect until 1 o'clock, 1 a.m., the one for McLean County until 12:15 a.m. Could see some hail. They've got 60 mile an hour winds on that. But there was a report of a possible 70. So you can probably expect at least the 60 on some of that. And so let me put this loop on this as well. I'm going to extend that out just a little bit more so you can kind of get a better idea of its direction. And notice the kind of the growing of the rain shaft there that extends further down towards Bellflower and Fisher now. But the core, the real core of this, where it is the worst, is definitely there east of Bloomington now. And going to ride right along 150, it looks like. It looks like it's going to follow 150 and 74. And so we'll see coming into northwest Champaign County and extreme northern Piatt County there. Like we said, Mansfield, you're technically in that severe thunderstorm warning as well. And just a lot of lightning. Here's what I'll do again. We'll switch back on the lightning. Look at all of those lightning strikes. That is wild. Constant lightning showing up there. And you can see it from all of our cameras. Our camera in Champaign sees it, a good 30 miles away with the lightning strikes there. So we've got that pointed to the north and west. And then our camera that is closer in Gibson City is seeing that as well. We'll switch that guy on for us. And here comes Gibson City. There's the lightning strikes again there. On kind of that left side of your screen is where you're going to see more of that. And then let's see if we got anything still in Bloomington on our camera there. Just some really heavy rainfall there. I'd start to get concerned about flooding there on the east side of town because they have had a lot of rainfall here Looks like they did get a report of about almost an inch of rain in the last hour, 4 miles west of Eureka. And so there's your camera in Bloomington, and here's the one in Normal. So there's downtown Normal right now, seeing similar conditions with the heavy rainfall and the skies that are just lit up there. Lots of electricity on all of these storms here, indicating that they're still tapping into some of that energy that is in place tonight with these thunderstorms as they move through the area. You got some lightning data over there.
I got some numbers here in the key.
All right.
And they'll get that up here in a second for us on Max 1. There we go. This is kind of highlighted. Now, Kevin, this particular graphic here, not only does it tell us the numbers, but also it differentiates between negative and positive lightning strikes. Here, we're looking here from Ford, Livingston, McLean counties, back towards Woodford and Tazewell counties. And you'll see the thing that stuck out to me, Kevin, each one of those yellow bolts is a positive strike. Each one of those white ones is a negative strike. When we got positive strikes, that's a sign of some really intense lightning. And seeing that number at 424, the number of strikes, 739. Kevin, correct me if I'm wrong. When we queried that, is that a 15-minute?
Yes, that's probably defaulted to 15 minutes.
15 minutes. Yeah, so in the last 15 minutes, we're at 739. So some fast math here. That's about 2,900 strikes an hour just in these storms to the north and west. I saw a comment too saying, well, I can hear the thunder down in Tolono. I'm not surprised by that. We've got strikes that are hitting here from Gibson City towards Mahomet and Farmer City, especially in your more rural areas. That's going to be the case where we can hear that. So I thought that was interesting to show here and keep an eye on. We'll show you radar real quick, an update on that. Again, this is a nice, healthy, very strong storm. It's a supercell thunderstorm. We're honest here, sitting now east of Bloomington, the edge of it riding right along Interstate 74, US 150 here. You've got Bloomington Normal, you've got Downs and Leroy, Farmer City, Mansfield in the path of that, to also Moraine View State Park. The nice thing about a Sunday night, campers probably aren't out as much there. But if there's some campers there, boy, are they getting a lightning show and a windstorm out of this. There's been some 60 to 70 mile per hour winds estimated in the storm in the Bloomington Normal area. Had some reports of a fence blown down and some other damage back towards Peoria with these storms here. Want to give an all clear to Pontiac and Livingston County. No warning there. We're still watching for Ford County. At this point, if we're watching anything, it's going to be the southwestern part of Ford County, the Gibson City area and south and west. It may just graze to the south here based on what we're seeing. And so we're going to watch that closely here. I'll zoom in a little closer and get you some more roads here on the southwestern motion. That's going to cross US Illinois 54, that is, between Gibson City and Farmer City. Bellflower, Saybrook, Leroy, Ellsworth, Moraine View State Park sits right here. This storm here is one to watch with some of that quarter-size hail and perhaps some 60-mile-per-hour winds with it based on what we're seeing right now. And eventually on the path it's heading here, the warning now clipping the northwestern part of Champaign County. It'll be Mahomet proper, downtown Mahomet not included, Lake of the Woods not included at this point. That will probably change here in the next 30 to 45 minutes. They probably will extend a warning as long as the storm keeps up with its strength here. It will include Fisher, will include Fooslin. It's going to include the natural gas plant there at the curves on 47 south of Fisher. Going to include immediately west side of Mahomet off towards Mansfield at this point. So Champaign area will continue to watch from afar. I want to mention also real quick, Kevin, while we can, I haven't had a chance really to spend much time on the storms down in Macoupin County and Morgan County, places like that. We will watch this development out here. That's in western Illinois. There's Jacksonville. These storms have no warnings with them at this point. Our only severe storms at this point are between Bloomington and Champaign. And here's something to think about too, Kevin. That's where the drought still is moderate at this point. Let's give them a good drink of rain there and help finish that drought off for everyone here in central Illinois. So that's maybe something good coming from this, but there's some wind and some hail and plenty of the lightning to go off with it here as we look on through. Let's take a quick look at rainfall totals here. We'll go the last 3 hours, just see if we can see any higher totals here. It'll take a minute for that data to populate. These storms have a lot of moisture to work with. They will produce some very heavy rain in a very short period of time. And so we'll go zoom in here in McLean County. Usually when you start seeing those greens and yellows, that's an indication where we've got rainfall totals here approaching the 2-inch mark or more. That's about where Moraine View State Park is there north of Leroy. Estimating 2.7 inches of rain already in a small spot there north of Leroy. And so we'll continue to watch that heavy rain be heading towards Farmer City and Bellflower, Fisher. Maybe it'll hit Mahomet. We'll see how far to the south and east it'll continue to extend, but in that general path, be darn close there with the I-74 corridor, seeming like a hard cutoff at this point with storms as they've been blown out through. There's folks in the southwest side of Bloomington that have not gotten any rain. Folks in the east side there, the airport sits here, those greens, we'll just pixel query that spot there as well. 1.8 inches estimated in the last 3 hours on the east side of Bloomington normal. So that's how it's going to go, I think, through the night tonight. Again, McLean County, where we're watching here and keeping an eye on things. So we'll bring that radar back up and take a peek at it and show you here the warnings now for both these storms. This cluster right here, almost bowing out and running into the backside. And then we've got this storm right here on the east side of Bloomington down towards Downs and Leroy with all of that lightning and thunder with it. While we've got to here, Kevin, I'm going to got a little tickle in my throat, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Just want to check that velocity. You can see these greens picking up here. There's probably still some gusty winds coming in. And I know Bloomington Normal just had a round of gusty winds. There'll be some more gusty winds, probably 50, 60 mile per hour coming into the backside. But the wind, for the most part, watch. We'll keep an eye. The hail as well. We've had some larger hail reports in these storms, quarters and half dollars in spots, especially northwest and western Illinois. But so far, we'll keep an eye on those reports and see if we can't get any in. We look downstream, Kevin, and we see drought path for these storms, and you've got that up for us. Who's next in line here?
Yeah, well, if these would stay on the same path at 35 miles per hour, Saybrook here in just the next few minutes, but then you've got the Foosland area, extreme northwestern portions there of Champaign County and Fisher. Again, at a speed of 35 miles an hour, it's not going to take long. Now, this is I'm basing this off of the kind of the leading edge of this here. Okay, so Mahomet possibly here starting to get some of that rain in the next 20-25 minutes or so. Now, if we did this from kind of the core of where some of those winds are, that changes it a little bit. So look at the numbers here. So you may actually have some of the rain starting in, say, Mahomet in 20 minutes, the core of some of those winds in more of like a half an hour or so, closer to 1 o'clock. And so it just kind of depends upon where we kind of drag this, this storm path. Okay, so right on the edge of some of that heavier rainfall, there's kind of your timing, but the core of some of those winds is actually a little bit to the north and west of where that initial rain is. And so that just kind of gives you an idea of some of the timing. And also, again, I'm just going to kind of move this along here where this would go. And so you can kind of see it does really ride right along I-74 and, 150 there, kind of north and east of that. So you're talking about coming into Fisher there, coming into extreme northern portions of Piatt County as a possibility. And we can zoom kind of down in on that as well. And so there it is now in Bellflower. I will say that, again, the core of some of these winds, okay, is strongest over there towards the Downs area right now between Holder and Downs, and going to be northwest of Leroy and hugging right along I-74. And so this is the area, and I'm going to get the updated radar scan that will kind of come across and show this here. I'm going to actually switch over to my other scene here that will show this a little bit better. And that's going to be kind of right here. Okay, see this where Downs is located. This is kind of the core of some of that. The radar indicating, some 50 mile an hour gust in there. And so that would be one area of concern. So I'm going to put a little bit of a loop on all of that. And you can see how that kind of is moving right there along I-74. And we're going to watch Bellflower and Saybrook, Aerosmith, the Ellsworth right now. You guys are getting it. And then this starts to come in just there, maybe even in the north side of Farmer City. You might get clipped by this depending upon just how far of a little bit of a turn that it might make, if it does make that turn a little bit more. But it is definitely going to be coming into northwestern portions of Champaign County here before too long, over the next half an hour or so. And again, we can see the lightning here from our cameras. There is normal right now, still seeing very intense lightning strikes, but also it's pretty impressive here. We're getting it right here at the studio from our camera in Champaign, looking to the north and west. I've seen several of the lightning bolts across the sky. Just be careful if you're going to be out there. I mean, there's so much lightning, and I know it's tempting to try to go out and snap a picture and get some stuff, but just be careful. Lightning does kill, and so definitely don't want to be one of those statistics there for this. But more than anything, if you can, just hang out, stay inside, listen to us here. We'll show you all the images and views and cameras and analysis and radar views that we can to follow along and get you through the storm here. But that's the Champaign camera. Here comes the Gibson City camera here once again. We'll take a look at it. There was a good little lightning strike there.
Kevin, kind of looking at things here with this storm that's west of Gibson City now, southeast of Bloomington, heading into Champaign County. I kind of get the idea that I think it's strengthening because there's a couple things that catch my eye here. One, it looks like it's starting to congeal together into a singular storm there that it kind of is dealing with submergers. There's an outflow boundary also that's right over Leroy, kind of off to the west, that it seems to be riding along. And it seems like it's maybe taking a slightly more rider turn, which I think is helping to make that wind threat pick up a little bit. So this probably, what do we say, about a next hour by 1:30, probably in Champaign-Urbana, if it keeps in that direction, we'll have a good storm in town here. And maybe, Kevin, you'll be the one to go outside and report on it from the back parking lot or in the weather garden.
Yeah, we'll fire up the garage door there.
There we go, yeah.
And take a glance there out back. But yeah, I mean, if this thing would start to turn a little bit more to the right, then you're talking about Farmer City maybe being impacted here. You guys technically are just on the edge of that warning there. Does barely clip DeWitt County there on the northeast side, as you can kind of see on this. So there's Farmer City. So again, as I mentioned, you're technically not in that, but it's going to be really close. And then if this thing turns a little bit more to the right at all, or kind of taking a jaunt, I guess technically a little bit more southwest, then that would be something to watch. So I'm going to definitely keep an eye on anytime we see these little notches here. It's the inflow that you get kind of into the storm. And so then sometimes that's where circulation can develop. And so we're kind of seeing that there near Leroy right now. And again, almost I-74, and I promise you, the interstate does not affect the storm, whether it crosses it or not. That's not a thing. I get asked about that all the time, and whether
I think we just got so many interstates, we just allude to them all the time.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's riding this road or taking this path here.
That's the most recognizable landmark that people understand.
And if it is riding the interstate, then I needed to stop by Dewey's in Farmer City and bring us some burgers.
Yeah,
way, right?
that would be good. Some Red Bull too. I don't know if they have
there
that. But yeah, so this is the storm here. We're definitely watching pretty close. That little notch and that ramp it up a little bit more. I gotta lie, that'd be an interesting spot to check out. Because there's some.
I kind of look at Kevin. If you look at this, getting a little more sciencey from behind the scenes. If you look at correlation coefficient, you can see it clearing out in front of it in that notch. And then also in the ZDR, there's almost an arc that's developing there, and on that east side of it there, that bright red coloration. And to me, I think the hail threats are going to pick up even more on this storm here. It's got a nice updraft with it. The thing that helps us this time of night is that cooler boundary layer, that surface layer of air, which can help keep those storms a little elevated. But it's right on that outflow boundary. I just think this is something we're going to watch closely and see how it plays out here, Kevin.
Interesting. I mean, radar.
It's a healthy storm, and I think there's going to be some big hail coming here. So we'll be looking for hail reports: Leroy, Moraine View State Park, Bellflower, Saybrook, eventually south and east into Champaign County. And we'll keep an eye on those Facebook chats too to see if we got any comments on there. But I really think that that 60-mile-per-hour wind and 1 inch in diameter for the warning text that they've got there, I would not be surprised to see that ramp up here in a subsequent update.
Yeah, we're going to see here. They have, let's see, the severe thunderstorm watch, obviously still in effect until 4 a.m. This is an area that we're definitely keeping a close eye on. We'll see if they have to extend that warning. I mean, if this thing would start to turn a little bit more to the south, they'd have to start including some other areas there. But that thing ramping up, definitely strengthening. And yeah, I think there's definitely a nice updraft in that thing that could produce some significant hail there. Matter of fact, some of the indicators on our kind of products that we look at are pretty big in terms of the hail potential there. Let me see if we can. Yeah, so that's there's our hail kind of size graph there, and so you're talking about some 1 inch size hail in that storm, and
Kind of seems like it's been trending up a little
it
bit
has
too.
absolutely trended up more. So maybe some $50 size hail that could be in that. So that is kind of the core of where some of that hail is. Stretches there from kind of just north of Downs and then north of Leroy. You're definitely seeing that potential for that. So now you've got wind as a threat. You've got the hail threat that's there. You got some really heavy rainfall and this thing kind of ramping up. It's definitely a very healthy storm. 1 inch size hail at the min, and then those 60-mile-per-hour winds. And this thing, as we watch it, it is going to come right in to northwest Champaign County, possibly into the extreme northeast corner of DeWitt and northern portion of Piatt County there. It's definitely taking on some interesting characteristics in that area that we'll have to monitor closely. Again, this is what I mentioned. You can see the warning that's right here.
Is there any chance, Kevin, you can pull the chat up on the
Sure.
stream computer just so I can peek at it? I've been looking at some folks. Somebody in Leroy, Justin, saying the winds just picked up in Leroy ahead of that. So, it's just good to see those chats. If you've got a report, let us know that on the chat there. Man, Kevin.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
new update there, I'm just thinking.
Yeah. This is definitely something to keep an eye on here. With that storm for sure.
I'm going to mute my mic and go talk to production in the back.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they pop a tour on this, to be honest with you. I'm seeing some better rotation on this. This might go tornadic here. That's a very intense radar signature that I'm seeing here. We might have something here south and east of Leroy, right along I-74. That is an area that, as I look at that on radar, that does have my attention on it for sure. I think we might have something there. It's definitely one of the more better signatures I've seen, and I think they're gonna pop a tour on that.
I mean, I think they are too. Do you want to jump on TV early while we got the chance?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Hey, the production in the back, go ahead and call Dallas and let's get on TV. There it is, Kevin. There it is. That's if you pull back CC real quick. Production, just let us know when we get on air, count us down, and take us right away.
I think that might be something right there.
Might be.
That's pretty co-located. Okay, so we might have a tornado here, potentially.
Yeah, just southeast of Leroy. This is going to be our first heads up for Farmer City. Empire exit 136. This will be south of Moraine View State Park, but I think that's what we're going to watch here. So production, just let us know when Dallas is ready to take us, and start with Kevin Full, and we'll jump on.
Okay, guys, there's technically not a warning after this right now, but that signature is pretty decent there in that area.
They say they're watching, or they've got rotation from the National Weather Service.
I mean that there's definitely some rotation there, south and east Leroy. So Farmer City, if you are between Leroy and Farmer City, I would just precautionary. I would just take shelter there in that area, because that storm seems to be ramping up there a little
35?
bit. It does look like that there may have even been a little bit of.
Hey, we'll be live at 35. So in 45 seconds.
Okay, got it. Okay, guys, we're getting ready to go live. So we're gonna come back to you guys here in just a second. But we're getting ready to go live on TV.
Production in the back, do you mind bringing up Kevin into program just as we're waiting here? Folks online are hearing us, and then I will be at the quad for a little bit too. There it is. So we'll be on here in about 10, 15 seconds. Kevin, I'll post on the warning for that.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, we'll be 10 seconds out. Tornado warning now for McLean, DeWitt, Piatt, and I believe it's going to include some of Champaign County. So 5 seconds out, Kevin.
We are breaking into coverage right now to give you the latest on severe weather. A tornado warning in effect right now for portions of McLean County, DeWitt County, and Piatt County. If you are in the Leroy, kind of southeast of Leroy to the Farmer City area, you definitely need to be taking shelter right now. There is a high likelihood of a tornado here that we're seeing on radar southeast of Leroy. It's going to be right in between I-74 and 150 there in that area where we've got some of that rotation right here. See these kind of pinks and these greens right next to one another. And then we've got this classic hook, this notch that is in there east of Leroy. And this is where we've got the potential for a tornado right here. Here's your inflow. The winds that are coming in and feeding into the storm, wrapping around, and rotation showing up right there. There was also what we call a little bit of a drop in what we call a correlation coefficient, which basically is the radar telling us, hey, we think that we're hitting something as far as debris goes. And that's going to be that color that you saw right there, that little drop, that blue color there is that potential where there was maybe a little bit of a spin up of a tornado there. And so that is going to be, again, now located southeast of Leroy and right there along 150 between 74 and 150. They're right there running parallel to one another. So if you are in Farmer City right now, you need to be taking shelter. This tornado warning is in effect until 1 a.m. as the storm moves to the south and east at 30 miles per hour. Again, very important for you to be in your tornado safe spots at this time. These storms are already producing a ton of lightning with them as well. You can see the area of biggest concern right now where this thing is kind of wrapped up, and this is your classic hook echo that you get on the storm. And you've got that tornado warning that's right there. New updated scan here, so we're just going to kind of back it off there just a little bit more. Farmer City, it's going to be there in the next 10 minutes or less, okay? So you need to be in your tornado safe location right now, lowest level of your home that you can get to. If you can get to a basement, that is great. But the biggest thing, center part of your house, lowest level of your house, away from windows, because this thing has, we think, produced a tornado here at one point. And so we've got just an incredible amount of lightning associated with these storms as well that we're seeing. We've been watching our Gibson City camera. Now that storm is going to be west of Gibson City. We've seen a ton of lightning on that, but also from our Champaign camera as well, we are seeing the lightning strikes that are out there with this, that are constant, lighting up the sky. It shows the intensity that these storms have and definitely need to be treated very seriously right now because of that tornadic potential that is there. It definitely looked a little bit better a couple of scans ago. This looks like it kind of spun up there pretty quick. We're still seeing some rotation on this. Again, southeast of Leroy, northern portion of Farmer City, ruled right there along the county line of DeWitt and Piatt County is where this is going to be coming in, the DeWitt, Piatt, McLean County area. That is the location that we are most concerned about. So again, that's the view looking to the north and west to that storm. So I know you may be watching in Champaign County and saying, okay, is this going to get to us? Well, it's possible. Mansfield, you're technically not in the tornado warning, but you are just on the edge of this thing as it moves to the south and east. And so right now, Farmer City on 136 there, kind of right there, 136 and 150, that is pretty much where you have the rotation with this storm right there, 136 and 150 north of the Watkins area there, and going to be coming into possibly just north of Farmer City, and then down the line as it stretches into rural portions of northern Piatt County there as well. Some strong rotation there and a nice inflow notch. And Jacob, we've been watching the storm. It ramped up pretty quick. we kind of saw we called it out before the warning was issued. We said we got to watch this guy, and boom, there it is, and it has ramped up.
Yeah, we've been on digital coverage since before midnight on our Facebook and our app, and we've been bringing you it there. Now we're also adding TV with this tornado warning here. Again, parts of McLean, DeWitt, and Piatt counties. The tornado warning does not include Champaign County. There is a severe thunderstorm warning for northwestern Champaign County out there, and so we're watching it closely. We're using a radar scope now to kind of illustrate what's going on. And what caught our eye is this light green line here, that faint line. That's an outflow boundary that the storm seemed to be latching onto. And as it did so, now we've got this circulation that pulled out of the storm here as it moved south and east of Bloomington normal. You can see that swirl picked up. There may have been something on the south and east side of Leroy here. Also picking up in intensity, the hail core now from Moraine View State Park off towards the east. That's going to be heading towards Saybrook and Bellflower. Don't want to forget about the hail. Of course, the big focus at this point is on the circulation. At this point, it looks a little messier than it did a little bit ago here. And what I'll do, Kevin, is back it up just a little bit so we can see where we're watching. Right about here, this was about 12:30, just before the warning. We saw this greens and reds really pick up on the southeast side of Leroy, and that's why we thought the chance was there that this might end up becoming a tornado. We were watching from about 12:15 saying, hey, this storm's starting to get its act together. At this point now, we've got this notch in here. You're seeing your inflow notch now north of Farmers City, your circulation wrapping around here. If there's still something down, I don't see anything right now down, but if there's a chance for it, it will be very close from Farmers City to the north and east. Right here is Illinois 54. You've got Farmers City. Bellflower sits here. US 136 runs south here between Hayworth and Fisher. It'll be close, I think, to that US 136 Illinois 54 interchange. They got a four-way stop at the blinking red light. The railroad tracks run along there. Still, though, Farmers City, we want you in your shelter at this point because it is too close to call based on what we're seeing. Further downstream, Mansfield, you'll be next. We will watch it. And then eventually, if this continues, it'll progress into parts of Champaign County. Let's talk a little bit here. I want to take a quick wide view, Kevin, and just mention all of these storms. We've got this warning here. We've still got new severe thunderstorm warning for Cass County and Menard County, a storm coming out of Beardstown. We'll watch that. That's going to be a wind and hail threat. We'll keep an eye on the tornado threat as well with all of those storms, but the main focus is going to be with this storm now here in southeastern McLean County. Let's talk about, again, who's in and who's out at this point. Bloomington normal. The tornado threat is past you. It's to the south and east. Heavy rain, lightning, hail. The severe weather threat for hail and wind is still there along Route 9 from Bloomington east towards Gibson City. I think there's going to be some large hail from Bellflower up towards Saybrook and perhaps towards Ellsworth and Aerosmith. The tornado threat seems to be riding along Interstate 74 to the south and east here. And as we just pulled up that circulation one more time, right in here, where it will be if it's anything. A little messy to look at this point, but still an indication to me that this storm has some rotation with it. So Farmers City and Mansfield, Bellflower at this point. Those three towns, surrounding areas, I'd like you to head to your safe place. Heavy rain and hail for Saybrook and Aerosmith and Ellsworth. Leroy, if you're in Leroy proper, to the north, Moraine View State Park, to the west and northwest of Leroy towards Downs, you are good. Anyone from southeast of Leroy towards Farmers City, you're still in this US 136 and US 150 interchange there, southeast of Leroy, off towards Farmers City and Mansfield. Real quick, I want to talk about tornado warning, what to do. If you're in a tornado warning, proceed to your safe place. This is for McLean, far northern Piatt, part of DeWitt counties here. Mobile homes, we want you to leave those. Not a safe place to be. If you're driving right now, you got errands to run at 12:30 something in the morning, 12:43. You want to get out of your car, get to a sturdy structure as quick as you can. 3 words we like to preach here: in, down, and up. Most interior room down as low as you can in your home, covering up with blankets, pillows, mattresses, even grab bike helmets for the kids here. We're giving you all clears here. Again, Leroy, west, north, all clear. Southeast Leroy, towards Mansfield and Farmers City. Not for you, though. We're also got our coverage online. Open your app on your phone, and you can watch Kevin and I here as we talk about that. Let's real quick talk about downstream from this here. This is going to be downstream with Link Champaign County if it continues. Downstream, another warning may be needed 30 to 45 minutes ahead of the path. Champaign County will watch it. You've got some time. Be prepared to seek shelter. Plug your phone in and arrange that safe place. Grab your flashlight. Make sure you got the WCIA3 weather app. We're not concerned immediately for Champaign County for the tornado threat, but it continues progressing in that south and eastward path here. And so that's something that we'll continue to monitor closely. There's a look in Gibson City to the north and west. Kevin, my dad is also out. He is south of Gibson City now, heading down towards Mahomet to get in front of this. He reported tons of lightning, heavy rainfall there, and we're seeing that in Gibson City. You've been seeing it in Champaign as well. Let's keep updates on this tornado warning going, Kevin. Now moving past the Leroy area. Tell me more about what you're seeing.
Yeah, and so here's what I want to do. So that storm there of concern right now coming into Farmer City, down the line to Mansfield. But I'm going to take us back because I want to show you what spawned all of this, our thought process as to why we thought this was the case. So there's your normal radar signature here. I'm going to click this back a few frames, and we're going to take you back, okay, when this was kind of coming through Leroy. And look how this storm evolved. It really changed shape. You had just a ton of inflow right through here, okay, and then look how this thing started to hook. And there it is right there. And that was the most impressive signature that you see right there with that hook and where we think about possible little spin of a tornado might have occurred. Now, also, there's another way for us to track this. There's another radar product that we see. You're going to see here in just a second, little green triangle that's going to pop up here near Leroy. And that is what we call a tornado vortex signature. And so those will pop up on there. And then we can really see it when we zoom in right here where some of that rotation was on the southeast side of Leroy, and then kind of tracked right there between I-74 and 150. That's where I think we possibly had some rotation and where that what we call a drop in CC. Correlation coefficient is something that we use to detect, hey, is the radar hitting a raindrop, a hailstone, or is it hitting tree limbs or 2x4s or other things, objects that are not, the same size of a raindrop? And so we can tell that by radar. And we had this drop that was there southeast of Leroy, in some more rural areas, but still where we think this actually occurred, southeast of town there. But now notice the storm. Okay, it's kind of cycling a little bit. And so now you don't have as a prominent area. There's still some good inflow in this, and there's still probably some good hail on it, especially on the northeast side of this and up towards Bellflower, where some of that purple color is located. And so you've got a hail threat with this, you've got a wind damage threat with this, and you have just incredible lightning with this here as well. All of our cameras are just showing a ton of lightning. I'm going to switch things back over to our Gibson City camera there because I was just noticing it just a moment ago. I mean, it was some constant lightning that was showing up there.
It almost looks like daytime there.
Yeah, I mean, just look at that as it kind of lights up the sky in Gibson City as the storms kind of actually start to past Gibson. More of the storms are on the southwest or southwest of Gibson City, looking towards Saybrook and whatnot. So our camera here picking up all of those lightning strikes with this. So again, biggest concern right now, okay, there is a tornado warning there for Farmer City. You are one of the larger towns impacted by this right now. And again, you can just see those lightning strikes there that are just going bonkers there with this. So be careful. Stay inside. Get to those tornado safe spots that Jacob was just mentioning out there as well. Again, we are hearing a lot of people tell us and give us reports about the lightning with this. Just a ton of it out there, the heavy rainfall. People are asking about, okay, what about my areas located here into Vermilion County, or how about Champaign County? Well, we're definitely watching these storms here. The strongest stuff is coming into the northwest side of town. I'd be watching there downstream Mahomet, okay? The Mahomet area, as that storm comes in, you could be impacted by this. Also, I'm seeing maybe just a little bit of an uptick in some of this here. We're getting kind of this notch trying to form once again a little bit there. So there's Mansfield now. And so we're going to watch there. I-74, 150, that whole corridor right there. This storm is moving at a pretty good clip. It's going to start to actually get out of the tornado warned area here before too long. And so we'll see if they carry this a little bit further. Mansfield, you're technically in the severe thunderstorm warning. Just semantics at this point. It's a very strong storm. It has the potential to produce a tornado.
And one thing to mention with that severe thunderstorm warning, now to ping pong ball size hail from Bellflower towards Fisher. I think we're going to get an extension of that here soon, and we'll figure out what they're doing. 70-mile-per-hour winds also being estimated by the National Weather Service on that, so that's something to mention. Kevin, let's. Do you want to try and get a hold of my dad and see if he's got any reports out there?
Sure. You give him a call and see. Your dad's out there doing some chasing, and he has been following some of these storms, so we'll try to talk to him. But I'm just going to tell you right now, if you're in Mahomet, if you're in Fisher, if you're there in northwestern Champaign County, Fruseland, all of those locations right now, you are going to get impacted by this storm in one way or another, whether it's from the hail, the high winds. There is still that tornadic potential with our storm here. Again, we're watching this very carefully as it moves to the south and east, incredibly electrically charged with a lot of lightning with it. There it is going to the south and east. And so right now, the biggest concern is going to be kind of the Bellflower area for some hail. Farmer City, east of Farmer City now to Mansfield and Mahomet. We'll be watching those areas carefully. And I think there's there could be some really large hail with some of this. The updrafts in this are pretty impressive. So there could be some very large hail man, there's definitely some hail showing up here, and that's going to pass there between Fisher and Mahomet there, and we're watching it. Do you got your dad over there on the line?
Yeah. Hey, Dad, I know you're out in the storm here. You're live on TV now with us. Kevin and I in the studio, and Dad, family affair, Kevin. We all like to go chasing. Dad, tell us where you are and what you're seeing. I know you're in the storm coming into Champaign County. Give us an update on where you are.
We're right south of 136 on Route 47, headed towards Mahomet.
All right, just want to give you a heads up. The hail core, likely ping pong ball size or larger. We could be getting some 2-inch hail out of this before long, about 3 miles to your west. So you want to hurry on through if you can. It's out by the county line. A lot of heavy rain, too, for you as well, right?
Oh, it's very heavy rain. We hydroplaned a couple times.
Okay, make sure you're being safe out there. That hail core now, probably 2-3 miles. It's moving south and east. I think it's going to hit those curves and be at the natural gas plant there in a little while. Kevin's moving that camera view, so where Dad is right in there. The lightning has been impressive for you. Have you had any? Tell us what you're seeing with that.
Right now we're getting heavy rain and lots of lightning.
Okay, and we hope you stay out of that hail here with this storm. Just be aware of that when you get to Mahomet. I think your safe bet will be to get on 74 and slide to the south and east into Champaign-Urbana, and keep us updated. Stay safe, and let us know. You can call us directly, too, if you've got any reports. Are you out there with Aunt Becky also?
You bet.
Okay, so my dad and Aunt Becky got it covered for us here from the ground. This storm now. Thanks, Dad. We'll let you go. Storm.
We're just getting into some hail.
Okay, just getting into some hail. Maybe we should stick with you for a little bit. Where exactly on 47 are you?
We're right at the curves.
At the curves. I think you want to keep heading south because that hail core we're knocking on your back door there. And once you get past, let's see here. Do you remember that old ostrich farm used to be on 47?
Yes.
Yeah, once you get past there, I think you're going to be a little bit better here. It's still going to be heavy rain and wind. As far as the circulation goes with the storm, I haven't mentioned that. That circulation is going to be north of Mansfield now. And Kevin, how fast were these storms moving? Were they 45?
They were actually slowed down a bit. It was now 30
miles an hour to the south and east here. So just want to give you a heads up on that. I think, again, you get to Mahomet, get to the south and east there, and we will see. We'll try and call you again here about 10 or 15 minutes. Sound good?
Will do.
All right. Thanks, Dad, reporting in northwest Champaign County for us. Stay safe. We'll talk to you soon. All right. So he's out there, Kevin, keeping us updated. and he's getting some of that hail, Kevin. I'm not
Yeah.
surprised by that. Have we had any reports on social of that hail?
Let's see here. Well, again, we are streaming online. We're on the Facebook, Twitter, and all that stuff on the app as well. We're getting just a ton of people talking about the lightning. Lightning is insane in Mahomet. Lots of thunder and rain just beginning in the Mansfield area. Again, a lot of you are waking up. Noisy hail in Saybrook was the report here. Let's see, hail in Saybrook, heavy rainfall, some small hail even reported into the Fisher area. But again, the lightning has just been overwhelming with this. Okay, the tornado warning, they've actually expired it for DeWitt, McLean, and Piatt counties. Okay, DeWitt, McLean, and Piatt County, the tornado warning that we had here, they've expired. The storm itself has kind of lost the characteristics of the tornadic part of it, but it has definitely kind of risen in its hail characteristics and extremely heavy rainfall. New severe thunderstorm warning now includes Champaign, St. Joe, Sydney, to Willard Airport, to Royal, right on the edge there of Rantoul. So this is a brand new severe thunderstorm warning. They did not carry along the tornado warning. They opted with a severe thunderstorm warning with this, with the potential for some hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. So this is a brand new severe thunderstorm warning that just got issued. So you may be waking up now in Champaign, where those weather radios are going off right now. They're going off in Thomasboro and the Sellers area to St. Joe and down to Philo and Sydney. Weather radios going off here because of this storm that has some hail in it. And Mahomet now, if you're in Mahomet, I think hail is knocking on your doorstep in the next few minutes. Looks like a pretty good hail core is taking shape here. As we just kind of mentioned there, along 47 where Jacob's dad was there, as he was coming around those curves there and then going south. And so this now is going to be coming in to the north side of Mahomet here, that purple colored area. That's where you have the potential for some quarter-size hail in there. This right there, and this whole thing is kind of moving to the south into the east. And so right there along I-74 in Mahomet, between Mansfield and Mahomet, you're probably going to get some hail with this. And it's going to wake you up probably there as it hits the roof there. And you're going to be hearing this really coming down before too long. Again, we're monitoring your guys' chats that are out there. We are keeping you updated on this. Mansfield, power is out. We're just getting a report of the power being out in Mansfield right now. Okay. So that's something that we are watching here as well. So power outage is just starting to come in to the area. A ton of lightning in Mahomet is we're hearing reports of here as well. But I'll be curious here. Oh man, that next scan that just came across, that is a large hail core there, and that's going to come right there into Mahomet. It looks like, especially on the north side of town, going to be catching some of these hail reports. But that new severe thunderstorm warning does cover a large part of Champaign County, where a lot of folks live. And so let's see here. No power. Let's see here. I'm in FC, no power, but not much of anything here. Okay. All right.
And one thing too, Kevin, if they can on the chat tell us the size, that's always really helpful.
Hail sizes.
Throw a quarter out there and give us a reference to that.
We're also just starting to hear the hear the thunder here at the studio here as well from the storms. And now we're getting close enough to those storms. And so we kind of peer off here to the north and to the west where that lightning is very intense. We're looking towards Mahomet there now. And so you can see that that lightning is constant, just hundreds and hundreds of lightning strikes with this storm, indicating still the intense part of this, the strengthening that it's still kind of going through. I want to stress again, while we have lost the tornadic characteristics that this once had for a brief period of time, there is definitely some hail there. That's actually going to come to probably the Lake of the Woods area there. Where that hail core is, and we're looking kind of right there in that general direction to the north and west where that is going to come through. So if you are in Mahomet, we'd love to hear any reports that you might have if you do get some hail, and the size of that hail that is out there if you get some of that. But that storm's coming in, and it does look like Champaign down the line is going
that
to.
strike there?
Yeah, look at that again. That lightning, a lot of cloud to ground lightning. Don't be outside trying to take pictures of this, because these lightning strikes. I mean, this is a very intense storm. It's a little bit more than just a regular storm that we get here. So it's got the lightning and it's got the hail there as well. So we're getting a report of hail in Mahomet. I know it's very difficult for people to come up with the exact size of the hail as the storm's coming down. I don't want you to go out and get injured or anything. But if later you do find out the hail size there, we would love to hear about how big that hail is. That could definitely help us out. Again, when we look at it on radar, the hail core there going to be coming into the north side of Mahomet, the Lake of the Woods area. Right there where this purple color is where we've got that there. At the golf course there, you're going to have some of that, and now kind of trending now east of 47 where some of that hail is located. Jacob, we'll throw it over to you over there with another report.
Yeah. Hey, Dad, you're on TV right now. You're live. We just picked up the phone with you. You are in Champaign County in Mahomet. Tell us what you've got. Do you have a size estimate for that?
I don't. It's just so it's loud. It's raining heavy. I can't. It's just hitting all over.
Okay, so there's big hail in Mahomet right now. We see that hail core.
This overpass. Maybe I'll see how big it is.
Wow! Did you hear that?
We heard that.
There's some big hail there. If you can get under that overpass and give me a call back real quick. Okay, we'll talk to you in a second, and if you can get a size when you're under that overpass, we'll call you here in just a minute. Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Okay,
well,
so
that lines up. Yep, that lines up.
That sounded like big hail coming. There may be some golf balls in this, if you ask me, from what I'm seeing here. So big hail and production in the back. We're going to stay on TV here through this storm as it's going on in Champaign County, Champaign-Urbana. We're about to have a big hailstorm, it seems like. Been a little while since we've had that. I know I just texted my wife. Kevin, you're probably texting your wife.
I actually am doing that right now.
There's folks that are out here in Champaign-Urbana. This is likely going to come right through the middle of town. It's been a couple of years. We just lost signal on TV. Okay. We've lost signal on TV here. It came back. Okay, so folks, we're in and out. We're likely having some issues. Our tower's down in Seymour. It may have been lightning, so we may be in and out. Remember, you can stream us on digital platforms as well. We will stay with this storm with some very large hail now coming into Champaign-Urbana. The warning is for $half size hail. I suspect we've got some golf balls based on that call we just had there. Wow. Real quick, Kevin.
The lightning is just going insane. Power keeps coming in and out in Mahomet. We're getting those reports as well.
That makes sense to me. I do want to mention, we've also got some big storms, another supercell thunderstorm coming in across the Illinois River at Beardstown. There is some 60-mile-per-hour winds and $half hail in that. That'll be Jacksonville to Springfield up towards Petersburg. We will watch that closely. Of course, I think at this point, we'll keep an eye on that, and I'll check that here in a minute. But with this storm coming into town here, this is going to be our main focus. Been a little while since we've had a storm like this in Champaign County. So, big hail now in Mahomet. Kevin, I want to send it back to you, and I'm going to give Dad a call real quick and talk to him off air. So if we can mute my mic in the back too, and then tell us more. Not only the hail, but the lightning. Yeah,
a lot of lightning, just a ton of lightning with this. Look at you can't even see the radar because all of the light. I mean, this is wild how much lightning is associated with this. In Mahomet right now, being told there is quarter-size hail. Okay, quarter-size hail. Let me pull this back up here. Specific location in the Bridle Brook area of Mahomet. So in the Bridle Brook area of Mahomet, the hail there to the quarter size, that's going to be kind of there on the north and kind of east side over there along Prairie View Road as well. Reports of that hail. Power going in and out, a lot of thunder and lightning there. So I'm going to switch back off the lightning off this. You can actually see the radar viewer here a little bit better. But this hail core that is coming into town right now, there is golf balls on the north side of Mahomet there. Big time hail there along I-74 in Mahomet. This storm here is just dumping, and you can kind of see it. There it is right there. Look at that hail core right over Mahomet right now, where you guys are just getting pelted here, and Jacob's dad that is there chasing this, and you can kind of see it. We've turned this on, gone all the way down into the streets, and so Lake of the Woods here. We talked about how we really thought that would be over there over the golf course and whatnot, but kind of here, right, even into the downtown area of Mahomet, this purple color is showing that. Then there's Prairie View Road there on the east side of Mahomet. That is your hail core. That's where you're going to be, basically from kind of Lake of the Woods all the way across to Prairie View Road. And then let's see here, you get not quite to Mahomet Road, but just on the kind of east side of town, where that purple is, that's where you're going to potentially have those golf ball size hail. I heard some people report that their skylights, they're getting their hail is hitting the skylight there. If you have pictures of the hail, and I don't know if any of the guys back there in the control room or anything, I have a feeling we're going to start getting flooded with pictures of some of this. So be checking our emails and Facebook and things like that.
Messages all over the place here too. I'll try and get some as well.
Yeah. So dumping hail in Mahomet right now. Sunny Acres in Mahomet getting lots of hail, tons of it, a lot of lightning, just constant lightning, constant flashes of lightning here. And again, that hail core is coming right there along I-74. This thing's going to come in to possibly Northwest Champaign here. It's riding right along 74. And so now anywhere along 74 on the way to Mahomet and Champaign, in between there's going to be a hail core right on the interstate right now. So anybody that's driving, and even take a look at this. So we get our radar here has the different colors on the color table. See, we have purple here as kind of being the highest. There's a little white that's showing up. That's like the next level. And it's something we don't see very often, but it's showing there over off of Heather Drive on the east side of Mahomet there, 150. And so that is going to be, over there where the coffee shop is, and then where
Whisk, that's a good one.
Yeah, Whisk over there. That's going to be some of those new buildings that were just kind of being built over
Max
there.
2 full real quick. Max 2, you can see a picture of some of the hail. This came from the south side. That's going to be some $50 there, I'd say.
Max 1.
I'm sorry, Max 1. My apologies.
There,
there it is. So you can see that hail. So there's a first photo coming on in here, some of this hail. More photos coming in. I'll be getting them as I can, Kevin. I just wanted to get that photo. We've got large hail coming into Champaign-Urbana. It may be golf ball or larger, the way this storm is. And so we're going to keep an eye on that and stay with you here through this coverage. Kevin?
Yeah, that core that is right there east of Mahomet there, the new radar signature that is popping up there. So it's now going to just be right there on I-74. And so, there's Champaign kind of coming in there where 57 and 74 are, where the construction is located along there. We'll watch where this purple area is. That purple area is going to be where some of that largest hail is located as it moves to the south and east. We'll put a little bit of a loop on this just to give you an idea of the general direction that it's going. You can kind of see, it is targeted right here and even kind of growing a little bit. And I want to start watching here once again, kind of down here towards Seymour and Whiteheath. This is just kind of the beginnings again, where this thing is trying to take on a little bit of a hook there and a little bit of a notch on that as well. We're going to watch that carefully there. So it's not just the hail, the wind threat is there. We're still going to watch that tornadic threat as well. And more hail pictures are coming in, Jacob.
Yeah, another picture coming in. This, I believe, was Route 150. In Mahomet. That picture coming on in. Of course, if you've got a photo, please send it to our news page. You can send it to myself. That'll be the easiest way to get it. Kevin will be watching too, but I'll be able to get those posted if you message either the news page or the my personal meteorologist page as well here, and look at those photos. This is going to be Kevin, you need to get your car in the garage here?
Yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking as well.
Cars out there, so.
Yeah, hail is coming down. Constant reports. We're starting to hear the thunder here. I'm going to switch over to our camera here in Champaign as we watch that storm come in. Here's that constant lightning, and pretty soon we won't be able to see from this camera view. Give it another 15 minutes and we won't be able to see because of the heavy rain, the precipitation, the hail that's coming down. Still crazy hail off of Prairie View I'm getting reports of. Still hearing hail in Mahomet there. There is not a tornado in Mahomet. I had some people asking about the potential of a tornado there. We don't have that. You've got a hail and a very strong wind potential there. And this thing is now going to be coming in to Champaign, okay, the northwest side of town, hugging there along I-74, the Marketplace Mall. And then as you head north there, so it's going to be definitely impacting the northern part of the town for sure with some of that hail as it comes in, and it is just knocking on our doorstep here, and we'll be watching it here. We'll see just how far south that hail core does get, but again, the lightning is constant with this. The storm, tons of thunder, you've got the hail coming down, and it is kind of relentless here because it continues. We were just getting some of those reports in that it is continuing to come down there on the east side of Mahomet. There's the wide view of things on the radar again. And so again, I know we've got a lot going on. We're going to start watching this storm. There's another storm out here towards Jacksonville that has a severe thunderstorm warning with it. We got to watch it. And then the main show here, the main stuff that we're really keeping an eye on here is between Whiteheath to Seymour, Mahomet, and now coming into Champaign, a hail core that is starting to show up here, and we're going to probably before too long start to get something here at the station. We might be just on the edge of it. It depends on kind of where this purple colored area that you see here, where that goes as it goes to the south and east. But Staley Road there on the west side of town, you're next. There's a new updated scan. I don't know, this thing has got its eyes right on Champaign here. This thing is coming right into town, it looks like. And so now at 74 and 57, you're probably starting to have some of that hail possibly start there. The core itself, it's shrunk a little bit, but it is definitely still there and diving south and east. It's almost just riding right along the interstate like a car or a truck would be doing. And it's coming into town. We're going to be peeking outside our own back door here before too long to see what we see. But quarter size to golf ball size hail has been reported out there. Again, Jacob's dad was in Mahomet there, and he was reporting that hail probably starting to let up a little bit there in downtown Mahomet itself. But as we zoom in here, Prairie View Road, it is not letting up. That hail core is still right there. I mean, they are just getting hit. Tin Cup Road that is out there on the east side of Mahomet, Lake of the Woods, getting it really good. That whole area, if you are out there, and you can see some of the streets that are showing up here. We can take that full, and you can see those streets a little bit better. So there's where Tin Cup and Prairie View kind of come together, where Lake of the Woods is, and that whole area right now is getting that hail, that purple color. That stretches all the way south of 74, and then stretches there along County Road 525. And then again, that's the area that we're watching that's going to be coming in to Champaign here before too long. And on the northwest side of town and Staley Road, 72, Bondville getting it. And we're just starting to get some of that heavy rainfall. And that hail core, I don't know, it's kind of taking a little bit more of a southeasterly trajectory on this. This may come through more the center part of Champaign now. It's looking like as that little purple colored area continues to dive to the south and to the east. It looks like the hail has come down just a little bit, but it is definitely still out there in terms of that hail potential.
Can someone in the back, I'm going to have the TVU and set it out the back door with the garage open. Can someone either in production or Kevin, do you want to just do that real quick and get that TVU grid up?
Oh, yeah. I think
and I'll turn it or leave it there, and then I can come and cover while you do that here in a second. Or unless Matthew, you in the back know how to.
Yeah, I think Matthew can probably do that. So we're going to try to get a shot out there here in just a second, but because this hail core is going to be coming into Champaign, I mentioned how we wouldn't be able to see our camera here before too long, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the camera back up here. In Champaign. Oh, yeah. And then how about the Neal Street camera? We'll take that one right now. And so the Neal Street camera there is, and you probably hear the sound there. That's going to be Jacob's microphone because he's just peeking outside out there at things. But that's Neal Street right now. Our camera here. It's just some heavy rainfall. That hail core is still a few minutes out from Champaign, but that's the view along Neal Street here. And again, that storm tons of lightning. The hail core itself is going to be coming into the west side of town, along just crossing over I-57 right now. Pretty much where, all the interstates, they're coming together. 74, 57, and 72. Right there where all of those interstates are is where that hail core is. And this thing is going to slide right into Champaign on the northwest side of town right now. There is that hail core associated with this. And now it does look like it is going to kind of come into a very large chunk of the city here on the west side right now, crossing over. There's the new updated scan. Again, it's still there. There was a little bit better hail core, a few scans ago, but it is still definitely probably going to be dropping some quarter-size hail in that right now, and there is no denying it. This thing is going to come right into Champaign here. So there it is on radar over there with Jacob as well, and you can see those purples, those pinks, whatever color you want to call it. Pretty intense on radar.
Yeah, we're on camera 2 here at the quad. And is someone in the back? I've got the TVU set up at the back door. Is someone in the back able to get that on? Or can Kevin, you just get that now?
He's got it.
He's got it. Okay, we'll pull that up in a second. Keep another eye on it. In fact, why don't we just bring that full screen now? And I'll walk out there at some point and kind of zoom in. Just rain here, but I know Boulder Ridge. We got a message from a former employee. Boulder Ridge subdivision now getting hail. We are starting to see those messages on the west side towards Bonneville also. That's the view now. Torrential rain. Kevin, we might zoom in on your car just for the fun of it.
Yeah, right.
This is going to be a hailstorm here that I'm trying to think, Kevin. The last time we had is that going to be let's just check that real quick. Nothing. Oh, this is going to be from Leroy. Semi blown over and power lines and trees down in Leroy. That's from the storm earlier. So
that's where the tornado probably was.
Still, though, I think if anything, that gives credence to there's going to be wind from this too. Let me talk you through where this is here on the quad real fast. And if we maybe double box or triple box our cameras in the back, I'll let you have some fun with that here. This is Champaign-Urbana. See this pink color here? Now the northwest side of town having some hail. We've had golf balls in Mahomet at this point. This now coming right through the heart of town here. And I want to just say most everyone in here getting that is now through downtown. And then the other thing I'll mention is see this really almost bowl right here. There is a strong surge of wind that will come through the south side of town from Champaign-Urbana downtown to the south. That might be Savoy and a Willett Airport. And I'll be very interested to see what kind of wind reports we get at Willett Airport as that comes on through. That's the rear flank downdraft on the backside of this storm pushing on through. There may be some 70-mile-per-hour gusts with that based on what we're seeing here. Golf ball size hail now northwest of Champaign-Urbana. And we'll update the velocity. You can see here some of these darker red, brighter reds here trying to come on through. We'll see what those gusts come through. Of course, now for Champaign-Urbana, you're in town, you're awake. The lightning, the thunder, and now the hail. Lots of folks saying they're hearing that hail on their roof here. Very impressive. There we go. We've got the camera out the back. We've got the Neal Street camera in front as well. And so we can keep that up and switch between Kevin and I. And I'll go out there and start zooming a little bit here in a minute, Kevin. Do you want to mention real quick, Springfield and areas there? Check out this storm, Kevin. This is now northwest of Jacksonville.
Yeah.
This storm, we've got to watch also another healthy supercell thunderstorm. Your outflow boundary, your inflow notch, the wrapping around to the backside. This now is going to be northwest of Jacksonville. We're going to watch Jacksonville, and then southern Sangamon County from Springfield to the south for large hail and some damaging winds. And that might have a threat for a tornado with it before all is said and done, too, based on what I'm just seeing initially. We'll dive into that. Keep a close eye on it. Other rain and storms down to the south. Litchfield, some light rain towards Effingham. This is the batch of storms here that's causing problems in our area. So I hear it now.
I think we're starting to maybe get a little bit of hail here outside.
So if you want it, there you go, Kevin. I'm going to go in the back here.
Yeah. So there it is. I'm hearing it there.
I am too.
So there's the hail. So Jacob's going to pop back out there with our camera here in just a second, but we can kind of see it here with this purple colored area coming in here. We're getting the hail, and it is coming down here. We're getting reports of it there in the Garden Hills subdivision right now. Power is off and on at Staley Road, Southwest Champaign, Springfield, and Kirby there getting that. Hail in Holiday Park right now, getting reports of hail there in Southwest Champaign. And again, we're just really starting to get some of that coming into downtown Champaign. It's on the west side right now, coming into the downtown area here with a little bit of that hail that is coming through as we speak. Again, this storm has had a history of producing golf ball size hail just a while ago over in the Mahomet area. But just a lot of lightning here. You've got the winds, and now the core of this, the heaviest part of this, kind of coming through on the west side of town, over there towards Staley, right there at 10, Highway 10 or Springfield, right there going under the overpass there in 57. Definitely, we're getting some of that to roll through where we've got some very large hail here. Again, I'm just going to check here. I'm getting some messages kind of coming through here. Quarter size hail in Campus Town being reported. So quarter size hail in Campus Town there being reported. Jacob, are you getting any hail out there right now?
You know, we've seen a little bit of pea hail mix on in. Yeah. So far, though, your car is okay, Kevin.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's good. Campus Town looks like they're still the hail core itself is now really kind of still on the west side of town there. It's just west of Mattis Avenue.
Yeah, I just got a quarter hail report from Boulder Ridge.
Okay, yeah, Boulder Ridge there on the west side there. So that's up here. That matches pretty good with the radar. So it's crossing over Mattis right now. We'll probably start to get it in the next minute or two. We'll start to get some of that hail here, getting a little bit bigger right now. Again, we've got cameras here outside the studio. Our Neal Street camera here. There it is on radar, the purple color there. That's coming right across.
Got another message of dime to quarter hail. Ooh, hear that? Candlewood Estates covering the yard.
Okay, got it. Covering the yard there. And that's the kind of thing is this thing may start to look like it snowed in some areas. You may get so much hail that comes down, white covering the area. Hail on Duncan and William Street in Champaign. Strong winds, hail, West Champaign. This thing ramping up a little bit here, coming into the west side of town. You're hearing... You okay out there?
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was a good one, Jacob. Jacob is not outside. I'll tell you that we have the camera that is inside looking out there. But you can hear the thunder, the heavy rainfall there. And the hail core now is, we just got a new updated radar scan. It's over Mattis Avenue right now. Centennial High School is getting pounded by this hail right now. And this is going to be crossing Prospect in the next minute or so. Again, that's the area that we're seeing. So there's a camera that's outside. Again, we'll pop back up here on radar because we're zoomed way down in on this here where you can really kind of see where some of this hail is. We're looking at this purple color, and there's a nice anywhere between Kirby Avenue up to all the way up to Bradley, up there where we talked about the Boulder Ridge subdivision on the northwest side of town where they're reporting some of the hail. But this is all kind of moving to the south and to the east. And so this is going to come right into Champaign, downtown area here. We are located here along Neal Street at Neal and Springfield, essentially. And so when that purple color gets here, that's the most intense part of this here. We're getting reports that it's pretty bad in the Bradley area. Boy, I just hope we don't take a lightning hit here or anything, because the lightning is pretty intense on top of us right now. And we will hopefully be able to stay with you guys. If you lose us, that's probably the case is a lightning strike. And I wouldn't be surprised if that could happen.
I want to quickly mention McLean County. We can give you an all clear. There's still some heavy rain along US 54. But McLean County is all clear at this point. To the worst of the storm, now Champaign-Urbana to the south and east. Still have that impressive storm as well towards Jacksonville. Want to mention, I think there's some big hail out there. There's a circulation slowly developing out there. They're likely getting ping pong ball size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds in Jacksonville here in the next 15 minutes. So we got two big hailstorms here at this point, Kevin.
Yep.
And that's why we're keeping coverage here through the night, folks. In fact, I see a 3-body scatter spike on that Jacksonville storm right over Jacksonville. So that's the other area where, late at night, Kevin, that new warning just extended now for Douglas, Vermilion, Edgar counties. The watch also extended for Vermilion and Edgar counties. We're here live with you. We're here because we're your Central Illinois most accurate forecast, and we're here to be with you from Jacksonville to Champaign-Urbana, points to the south and east. Kevin?
All right, so there we go. There is the hail core coming into Champaign, downtown on the east side, Memorial Stadium campus, heading down to Windsor Road, some of that purple color there, and potentially here at the studio here, just in the next minute or so, you can hear the thunder that is just outside our studio. You can't even really see from our camera that is on top of our tower here because it's coming down so hard. Constant lightning here that is hitting, and we're watching. That's our Neal Street camera right now. Very, very heavy rain that's coming down here right now. And probably, as I mentioned, in the next minute or two, we're probably going to start to pick up on some of the hail here as well. But lots of those reports coming in. Hail here at the Country Club area. Southwood getting hail. That's at Kirby and Mattis. And so that matches up really good. Kirby and Mattis right here. And man, those lightning strikes, they are getting closer and they are getting closer to us. I am just hoping.
I don't want to stand at the back door anymore.
No, yeah, I think you're good. Is that camera still even functioning?
It's there, yes. I've
Okay.
got the TV in a bucket to keep it from rain.
Okay, sure.
It's picking up too, but we've still got it, and we'll leave it there. It'll by itself. So.
Just a lot of lightning, the heavy rain, and again, we're just starting to hear, I think, that hail pick up just a little bit more because they were just talking about there at Kirby and Mattis where that is, and I think more at Kirby and Prospect now is where some of that hail is probably a little bit more prominent and going to be coming right over the Champaign, downtown Springfield, and Neal Street there. So right here's downtown. So there's Springfield, and then here's Neal. And so downtown right there, and we are really starting to see the intensification of the lightning, of that hail core coming into the area. We had golf balls a little bit earlier. Savoy getting pounded pretty good, and I think our hail is starting to pick up just a little bit more, as I just mentioned here outside the studio. Just kind of a wider view of things. That's the big wide view. That warning now extends all the way down into southwestern portions of Vermilion County, northeastern Douglas, and then Edgar County there as well. The core of this is right over Champaign down to Savoy, Willard Airport. Be curious to see if any reports come in down there as far as any hail sizes and whatnot. New updated scan there, really kind of coming across Windsor and Prospect here and coming into Neal Street in the next minute or so. A lot of thunder and just a lot of lightning. Here, I'm going to do this real quick. I'm going to zoom this out. I'm going to switch on the lightning, and you can see it's just covering Champaign. You can barely see any part of Champaign because of just how many lightning strikes are associated with this. Okay. Jacob Ball. Whoa, that was, that one was close by.
I think we weren't on camera there. We both
Wait,
that one. Wow.
It definitely both jumped on that one there.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about this storm, Kevin. I want to cover the Jacksonville storm too, real quick. We're focusing on Champaign-Urbana, but we got a big viewing area with a lot of real estate. Seeing those chats come on in, some pea-sized hail in Savoy now and whatnot. Boulder Ridge, lots of hail and lightning still there. It seems like this core is spreading out a little bit from Champaign now down towards Tolono through Savoy. Maybe it's not quite as concentrated in this, the area. So that could be a good sign here that maybe we saw the worst of the hail up by Mahomet, but still right along US 45 from Champaign down towards Tolono, some big hail there. And I'm going to look at some different products and try and identify some things here and see if I can't get a better grasp on things. I'm just looking to see if anything stands out to me. And at this point, I still think there's some hail, but maybe, Kevin, that hail started to wind down a little bit. We still got some quarters to probably $50 in some spots and parts of Champaign here from this. That warning is extended for $50 size hail from Champaign to the south and east. Now, this will include St. Joseph. It'll include Philo. It's going to include, it's going to also include Homer and down towards Allerton and Broadlands and Sidell, then into Vermilion County. Does not include Danville. Danville, you still got rain and storms coming on through, but the severe threat seems to be south of there, more towards Ridge Farm and Chrisman and northeastern Douglas County, northeast by Newman and Murdoch areas, and then into Edgar County, Chrisman to Paris, is where this storm will be heading on that southeastward jog. And so we'll watch this very closely. Want to also back up and talk about this storm here. Right now, we see here north and east side of Jackson that there's likely some ping pong ball size hail there, with a warning now including Morgan and Sangamon counties. And this storm will move east and southeast. Eventually, Waverly will take it over towards western Sangamon County, towards Loami, and towards New Berlin.
There's the hail.
There's the hail. All right, let's bring that camera full out there. I'm going to go back to that camera and start zooming a little bit.
All right.
Maybe not.
Well, yeah, we can just watch the camera view that's there. Can you tell how big that hail is by chance, or is it still kind of tough?
Kind of looking from a distance. It might be nickel, maybe.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so that hail core kind of coming right in here right now. It's the camera right outside the studio here. Really heavy rainfall. That lightning is just relentless. Yeah. People asking, is there a tornado risk, Champaign? We don't have a tornado risk here. This is, as of right now, we don't. This is a wind and hail, lightning, some really heavy rainfall kind of coming across here right now. Power is kind of going off and on in Mahomet. We were getting reports of that. That's where we had the largest hail size of golf balls, and that's when the radar signature was at its best. And we are seeing this storm continue to roll right into downtown Champaign. Now,
the water's standing there, too, at the back door. So.
Yeah, Urbana here as well. So now that hail core is along 45. We'll come back. Whew, that lightning is just... Right. It just makes you jump every time.
That's right. Hey, we've got.
You got him on the line?
We've got Dad on the phone. Hey, Dad, I know you're in Mahomet. You had some golf ball size hail earlier. Tell us now where you're at and what you're seeing.
We're still sitting here. Looks like some more hail coming this way, so we're just kind of waiting on it.
Yeah, a lot of heavy rain there. We're starting to get that hail now here, Champaign to the south. Haven't had any reports that large yet in town. Seems like it really pulsed up over Mahomet, but the lightning here has been very impressive. What about the lightning in Mahomet, Dad?
Yeah, it's starting to amp back up a little bit. I think there's another cell coming through, and we've had some real close hits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're going to keep an eye on that. Have you seen any flooding at all? We've got a lot of standing water here in Champaign-Urbana at this point.
Where I'm sitting, it's pretty well draining. It goes downhill, so no, I haven't seen any standing water.
Has the rain been heavy at this point also?
Yes, been very heavy. It has been for the last 15, 20 minutes.
And then tell us a little bit about where you first saw hail. That was probably about 15, 20 minutes ago, and what it was like when the hail started hitting the truck. We heard some of those, I guess the word doinks on TV, the big, when they were hitting. What was that like?
Yeah, it got real loud. I was worried about the windshield breaking, but I think we're fine. May have a few dings. But yeah, probably around the curves south of 136 on 47.
Whoa.
First hit it. And then it was pretty steady pretty much all the way to Mahomet.
Okay. That sounds good. If we can, let's bring the graphics full real quick.
Yeah. Okay. So, Jacob.
Yeah, we're flooding in the back here too.
Okay. So we're catching. We're catching a little bit of water.
No, we're catching a lot of water. Kevin, the parking lot's full in the back.
Okay. Well, we got some water coming into the studio back here.
Where's that coming from?
Back here in the back. It's going to be coming back here in the back.
It's coming under the door too.
It's going to be coming. It's coming in from back here.
Okay. Hey, in the back, can you mute my phone? We're going to call.
We literally have water coming into our studio here right now. It's so heavy right now. My goodness.
Okay. In the back, mute my mic, please.
Yeah. Mute Jacob's mic if you can here. We are taking in water in the studio here right now. And we need to get that rectified here because we don't obviously want to lose any equipment. Yes, yeah, do that. All right, guys. Boy, that rain super heavy here. Things are coming down, and we are catching again some water. That's it's tough to see here, but water is actually in the studio here as we speak. Okay, guys. So here we are. I'm gonna come off screen here just real quick because we've got water coming in here, and I'm just gonna show it to you in the studio. Take a look at this. You can take a shot here. There's water in the studio here right now because of the heavy rainfall that kind of came through. So we're dealing with that here right now. So I'm just being completely upfront and honest with you guys here about that. What's that?
You still on there?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Did you get a hold of Darren there?
Yeah, there's a train in it.
Okay. All right. I am going to not stand in this water just because there's a lot of electrical stuff here. And so I'm actually going to be sitting down here at this time to try and stay safe because there's a lot of electrical stuff that's going on here in the studio. And I don't want to be standing in water, but I'm going to stay here with you guys and give you the coverage that we can get here. Wow. Well, this sure turned kind of crazy here right now. Jacob, is it back there? Pretty good. Okay.
He may not be on air.
Okay. Are we still on?
From all I can
Okay.
tell,
We're still on the air here right now. Okay. So the water is coming in here. I'm not even sure where this is coming from. But we're going to stay in here right now and give you guys the best coverage that we can. Okay, let's kind of regroup here. Okay, we're going to focus in on this here. Yeah. Yep.
It's coming into the parking lot still
Okay.
back. It rains so hard. It rains so heavy.
Yeah, rained really heavy, really fast here. We're just we're doing multiple things here to try to get. Again, it's 1:30 in the morning. You can imagine we're kind of here, by ourselves here, obviously in the middle of the night. So I'm just texting Jacob some proper numbers here to try to get some people in here because we have water that is coming in here right now. And stand by here. Okay, guys. Sorry about that. So this storm now between Myra and Philo, that hail core has shrunk again. There it is. There's the view from above. Things are coming floating in here. This is wild. Never in my 20 years have I seen this happen. We've still got that hail that's coming down here right now along 130, Philo there over to St. Joe. Again, it has kind of weakened it a little bit in terms of the hail core itself of what it once was, but it is definitely still something that is okay. I think we just lost something here because I heard, I think the air compressor that kicked off here. There's boxes that are floating in the studio right now. This is wild. Our storm here, heavy rainfall. Is there, can we pull up the Neal Street camera here? I don't know if that's still a possibility. Is Neal Street up still? Because we're being told that the road, you can see, look at that. That's Neal Street there. It's completely flooded as well. So there's Neal Street right now that is flooded as well, right by the studio where we are. This is wild stuff here. As you can see, the flooding, just so much heavy rainfall that fell in a very short amount of time, and it piled up. Okay. All right. So. Okay. Okay. Got it.
Maggie's calling. I'll call her.
Okay, perfect. Okay, guys, we're staying here with you. We're getting reports of a lot of power outages out there as well in the area. Power outages in Mahomet, pretty extensive. I'm going to look at just the Ameren outage map here, and I'm going to pull it up and just kind of take a look at what some of the reports are of that. And you can see that we're getting some of those. I'm going to go ahead and pop that up now. So this is the Ameren outage map. And you can see as we zoom in, there are several outages. Each one of these little boxes here. So there's Mansfield, anywhere between 51 to 500 customers there. You've got more here west of Mahomet. In Mahomet, look at all these here by the high school. I actually just tried to connect to my at-home security cameras, and I can't connect to them at my house. So the power must be out there. And there are more reports coming in here into Champaign itself of the power that is out there. Again, guys, I'm here in the studio, okay, where we just got a ton of rain that came through the area and really heavy rainfall. Jacob is trekking through the studio here right now. Is Matthew still back in the control room? Okay, you can just bring me on camera, and then so I'm here in the studio here. I don't know if we have the aerial shot here. There's literally a lake. There's a lake that's in the studio right now because of all of the heavy rainfall here that kind of came in. Well, we have the yeah. You see you running around. I don't want to see the back. This is literally what we're dealing with here right now. We got our own crisis situation. This is what you may be dealing with at home if your sump pump doesn't work. Okay, right? If your sump pump fails, water kind of coming in and whatnot to your basements and when it's really heavy rainfall and it's still coming down here. Again, here it is, Champaign, now to St. Joe, Sydney. We want to stay on with you and keep telling you guys, what's going on with the storm. There is still that severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect here right now. So we're starting to get some flakiness here on our camera stream.
Your probably computer's getting affected there with the.
Yeah.
Is that the switch?
Sorry.
It's these camera. Hey, let's get these camera cords. Grab those.
Well, let's see here. We're trying to. Yeah. So hold on here. Sorry, guys. So we're on the air here. We're just trying to get this here. Our screens are kind of messing up here on this. Not exactly sure. Yeah, seems like it's just. I think we're still good on TV. It's our live stream here that might be kind of messing up here a little bit. We're still good on TV. The live stream here is kind of flickering a little bit, and I think that may have to do with what's going on in our back area there as well. But so we're just gonna. I apologize for the live stream. What's going on? We're literally out here in this right now. And again, guys. Do your best to stay out of the water. Just for your safety, just be careful because a lot of electrical stuff, around here. Okay. So again, guys, we're on air right now. We're covering these storms as they move through. Again, I know that the on air, the live stream that's on mine is getting really flaky right now. So we apologize for that, but there's really nothing that I can do. Here's what I am going to do because, well, let's see here. I'm going to see if this actually fixes something. Okay, so I'm just going to put up that because that is probably very distracting. So you're going to hear my audio here. I can throw up this graphic here that I can talk to you guys over, but I'm going to leave that up until I can get confirmation that our signal is back as far as the video goes. So just bear with us here. This is wild stuff. We are still tracking a very strong thunderstorm here that's diving south and east between St. Joe and Sydney, Broadlands area, and then stretching towards Homer there. The severe thunderstorm warning is still in effect. So again, those of you that are watching us here on TV, we took on quite a bit of water into the studio here from just the torrential downpour of rain that we had kind of coming through. So in the studio, we've got water. We're trying to rectify this to try to stay on the air here with you. Those who are watching online we're still on TV. Online, we've just put up a full screen here because the camera is flaky, and it's because I think of some of the stuff in the back that has water impacted. Is it still coming in?
Oh yeah, it's coming up real quick.
Okay, I'm just gonna slide over. Oh goodness. Okay. Sorry guys. Oh goodness. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, our water is still coming in here, and it's even worse in the back. Yeah. Sure. So the water is still here, and this is wild stuff here.
I've never seen this before.
Well, hurricanes, TV stations are impacted by hurricanes. that was such a heavy rainfall here that came down. But again, guys, I know that there's still issues here with the live streams, and I apologize for that, but we just got to carry on here and keep going, give you the coverage the best that we can do right now. Here's the storm, the biggest part of the storm between St. Joe and Sydney. Okay, this whole area right here. The storm itself, while is still pretty intense, and again, if you're watching us on the live stream, switch over to the TV because we are still on TV, at least I hope we are. But right now, Sydney, you have the largest hail core kind of over you, so you're probably going to get some of that hail. See if I can get any reports from the weather service here. Quarter size hail, they actually had that over in Jacksonville. Troy. Yeah. Call Troy. Troy's, I think, possibly dealt with this before. I want to take you back over to this other storm that we're watching here between Jacksonville and Springfield. That is an area of concern because that is a severe thunderstorm there. Chatham to Auburn, that's kind of coming in here next to Waverly. So that's a whole separate storm there. And then you've got our storm that we've been watching that came right into Champaign and Tolono there as well. Hey, is that Neal Street camera? Does it still show kind of the road flooded there? I mean, a little bit there. It still looks like it's kind of flooded. Yeah, it does. Yeah, that's over into the Duncan parking lot over there. I'm gonna see if I can't. We'll go back over to the radar there for a second because I am going to pop up our camera here, and then we're gonna turn it back down to the corner of Neal and Green. And yeah, Jacob, you getting a hold of anybody over there?
Yeah, Darren's on his way.
Okay.
Darren's making calls. Maggie suggested, since we've got, I think you can hear my mic, and that's okay. So,
Yeah.
You can call here just to check things out for us.
That's a Darren question there. I would definitely kind of ask him what we want to do. So I'm just trying to move our. Well, we're streaming, but the video is glitching, and so is the audio. So it's yeah, there you go. Okay. Jacob, we're trying to keep you out of the water here just in case electrical, just be careful there. And so I'm trying to move the camera here that we've got at the studio. Looks like Neal and Green itself. I don't know. Can you guys pull up the
water's stacking up as our back parking lot right along the building.
Okay.
Yeah. The garage door, and it's coming in there. Like it's that back hallway.
Sure. All right, so our severe thunderstorm warnings are continuing for southeastern Champaign, and now you're really going to start to get this here into extreme southwestern corner of Vermilion County, northeastern portions of Douglas, and northwestern portions of Edgar County here as well. Again, guys, thanks to everybody watching us here on TV. You can see the water. It's just pooled up in our area here, and just came rushing into the studio here as well. Again, sorry about the online feed, but I know a lot of you watching. You can see the cars that are driving through that same water that's gotten into our building here. The rain is still coming down, but it's definitely less. We're definitely seeing less rain than what we had 15 minutes ago when it was absolutely pouring here. And that's what we're kind of dealing with here right now. That storm still has some hail in it. Haven't had too many reports.
For digital purposes, why don't we just try resetting the browser? We may lose the digital. If we have to, we can come back audio only.
Yeah.
But I'm just
you mean like ending it and coming back?
Yeah, either that or restarting it. We're just out of options at this point.
Yeah, I think this has to do with kind of the converters that are in the back room back there potentially.
Got a tree down on Highway 47 south of the curves north of Muhammad. Semi almost at the tree. Please just around.
Okay, and that was where at?
North of Muhammad at the curves.
North of Muhammad at the curves is where they had that potential semi over there as well. So here's what we'll do here, just real quick. I'm going to end the stream on this. I'm just going to see if it fixes things. And so we'll pop back on with that here in just a second. Jacob, can you turn your mic? Is your mic?
My mic is not on.
Your mic is not on. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I'm going. Yeah. Flip his mic up just for a second while I do a reset, and so you can talk here while I'm gonna reset this stuff here. Is his mic on? Yeah. He's gonna go grab it. Got Matthew that's back there.
Hats off to production for him.
That production.
Yeah, I'm back on. Hats off to production in the back for helping us here. We got some water coming in the station.
Okay. I'm gonna end the stream. We're gonna try to restart.
Okay. We're still on TV though.
Still on TV.